Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you were watching us on our YouTube channel, that is called Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And we were going to do a podcast last week just on the class of 24, Deana, but things have been so swamped and I had so much travel covering basketball, we decided to push it back a little bit. And voila, here we are doing one on a specific member of the class of 24 because Davion Gause, a four-star running back from Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida, has committed to North Carolina. He was in Chapel Hill over the weekend, which was an enormous recruiting weekend of the first spring practice. And of course, the kids got to take in the Duke Carolina basketball game, which is always a big recruiting tool for the program. And I know the staff felt pretty good about a lot of the kids that were there. And we had been hearing that maybe a couple either gave silence or were trending toward committing. Weren't 100%. Didn't really 100% have Davion Gause on that specific radar, but Deana, he popped Monday and the staff is obviously excited.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, he was in Chapel Hill the weekend. Must have saw a lot of stuff that he liked and went ahead and pulled the trigger, around 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on Monday. So a huge boost. Tar Heels, they got Evan Bennett, a linebacker, and two linemen in Andrew Rosinski and Desmond Jackson, but getting a skilled kid, especially a skilled kid like Davion Gause, who is one of the top kids in Florida, like 66 nationally by rivals. It's a huge kid. I mean, they had a lot of talent there this weekend, and, a couple of them were running backs. And, this was huge. It was huge for Coach Porter, and that running back room. They're really good in that room, but they'll probably be losing some guys. By the time that Gause gets there, so huge, and it was just. We talked about the footprint, and I've been hinting at it's expanding a little bit. It's expanding western into Tennessee and a little bit farther southern into Florida, and they got a really good one from Florida today.
We'll talk about the running back room in a minute, but very quickly, 5'10", 209 pounds. We'll give a little more spec so people get it. And this will really help you get a gauge on what you're looking at here with Davion Gause. His offer sheet is highly impressive. Just some of the offers he has. You got Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, Michigan, Southern Cal, Oregon, Notre Dame, Miami, Texas A&M. I mean, even Deana's dog is so excited about Davion Gause.
He's really excited about this.
He's clearly the highest rated commit in the class. He's the number for Carolina. He's number 8 nationally in his position. He's the number 16 overall prospect in the state of Florida. He was offered last September 19th, I believe. So this is a big time pickup. As far as the room goes, Deana, I think it's safe to say that there's going to lose a few kids that are currently in the running back room. So there is opportunity to pick up a handful, maybe 2 more kids in this class. I know that you did something on one of the young men that was there this weekend that we ran Monday morning. I would think they're probably going to get 2 running backs in the class, and there's a lot of competition for those spots. So it looks to me like Davion Gause went ahead and grabbed one of those spots while it was still there.
Or we jumped up on this Zoom. I was watching some of his highlight videos, and a couple of the clips that I saw were in the red zone where he took the ball and made a couple of moves and made a power move and got in the end zone from like 9-10 yards out. And I know that has to be exciting to see a kid do that, considering some of the issues that the Tar Heels had inside the red zone, inside the 10-yard line, trying to get rushing touchdowns. So I think he's going to fit in pretty good with this Tar Heel offense.
Well, I think when you look at what Lindsey's background is as an offensive coordinator and the offenses he's been involved in, one of the things that appealed to Mac about him was his history with more power running. We saw some of that at Central Florida and some of his other stops. So, and this is definitely something that the program is emphasizing. They must score touchdowns in the red zone. You can't get into situations where you leave it to a kicker, which came back to bite them against NC State and Oregon as examples last year. They need to get more touchdowns. Three doesn't, in the modern era of college football, Max, like 3 points don't do you that much good. You take it sometimes because you got to, but you need to get in the end zone. At 5'10", 209, the first thing I thought was, this kid's like a missile going through people. And that's an impressive attribute to already have, because he's going to carry those instincts to the college level.
Well, you mentioned that they were there at the Smith Center, and all the recruits get paraded out in front of everybody. Davion Gause was dressed basically head to toe in Carolina gear, and I mean he really stood out. I saw some photos of him and everything, and it was just, he must have been giving us a clue that he really liked the Tar Heels for having all that gear on. And, that's one of the big things that Carolina has. They have their own Jordan gear. And, when I talk to kids and ask them about different things, most of the time the name Jordan comes out, whether it's the shoes or just the Jordan gear. They love the gear, the Carolina blue color. And so, like I said earlier, Carolina and Coach Porter, Coach Brown, they got them a good running back there in Gause.
It's a brand that clearly moves the needle. A couple of other things about him too. So to get people a better picture of the kind of kid that they got, he was at Miami, been at Miami. I mean, he's from Hollywood, so he's not that far from Coral Gables. We have at least, we've noticed, I think 5 times at least, that he's been to Miami. He's been to FSU, I think, at least 3 times. I think he's been to Central Florida at least 3 times. So the point I'm making here is those in-state schools that have seen him a lot, and the relationships are a lot deeper, where they know people who know people who know people. They can get a lot more intel on these kids. All those schools thought very, very highly of him. They clearly wanted him. And for North Carolina to go down there, they haven't really recruited South Florida a ton, but we've seen some increase there. We've seen a few offers there here in the last couple of months. And to land a kid from down there, I think we might start seeing more offers down there, especially a kid who's one of the highest rated players from that region. I think this can help North Carolina residually on the recruiting trail in that part of the state.
Well, this past February, they offered 4 kids from Florida. So, like I mentioned earlier, maybe the footprint's growing a little bit. I'll have to ask Coach Brown about that next time I see him, because, they really like that Northern Virginia to Atlanta area. But, you look at all the offers, and I did a piece on it a while back. From the 1st of January, they've really increased their recruiting presence in Tennessee. I mean, a lot of kids in the Nashville area especially. And so, and what kind of talent is in the Florida and Georgia, and they will continue to go there and get a lot of good quality players.
Davion Gause, he's a 4-star running back from Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida, the number 68 player nationally in the class of 2024, number 8 running back, the number 16 overall prospect in the super talent-rich state of Florida. He has committed to North Carolina, the 4th member of UNC's class of 2024. She's Deana King. I'm Andrew Jones. We appreciate you stopping by.